Excuses sound smart when you're losing. They sound logical. They sound safe, but winning hates excuses. Excuses are comfort in disguise. They protect weakness. They justify average. They give you permission to stay exactly where you are. Winners don't explain. They execute when you're tired. An excuse whispers when it hurts. An excuse negotiates when pressure rises. An excuse offers an exit. That's why losers love them. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. Standard. Don't bend for bad days. The work doesn't pause because you're uncomfortable. You either didn't or you didn't. You either showed up or you hid behind a story. Excuses feel good in the moment. They feel powerful when you say them out loud, but they steal tomorrow. Every excuse costs you respect from others, from yourself. Greatness demands silence, no explanation, no alibis, just results. Pressure isn't the problem. Lack of preparation is that. Excuses are comfort in disguise. They wear the mask of reason, pretending to protect you. But what they really do is chain you. Every time you justify why you didn't show up, every time you explain why you couldn't push harder, every time you whisper to yourself that today isn't the day, that's comfort sneaking in, softening the blow of failure, making weakness feel safe. You think you're protecting yourself, but what you're really doing is giving permission to mediocrity. You tell yourself you'll try tomorrow, that tomorrow is your reset button, that tomorrow will be different, but tomorrow doesn't care. Tomorrow doesn't owe you anything. Tomorrow will test you in the exact moment you think you're ready, and if you built your life on excuses, tomorrow will bury you. Comfort is seductive. It comes in 1,000 forms. It tells you you're too tired, too busy, too distracted, too hurt. It whispers that it's okay to step back, to pause, to delay. But each pause, each step back, each delay is a brick in the wall separating you from everything you want. You don't see it at first because comfort is quiet. It doesn't scream, it doesn't demand attention, it doesn't leave bruises. It sneaks in, soft and painless, until one day you wake up and realize the life you imagined isn't yours because you let excuses take the wheel. Excuses are the lies you tell yourself to avoid the work you fear. You fear the grind, you fear the pain, you fear the rejection, you fear the judgment. So your brain invents reasons why it's okay to stop, why it's okay to soften your edge, why it's okay to be average just for a little while. And every time you give in, that little while becomes permanent. Every time you choose comfort over pressure, you shrink a little, you settle a little, you betray a part of yourself that wanted more. You are trading greatness for ease, victory for fleeting sense of relief, and you don't even realize the cost until it's too late. The thing about excuses is that they never tell you the truth. They never warn you that the moment you take them, you are stepping off the path of potential. They make weakness feel justified. They make fear feel reasonable. They make giving up feel noble. But the truth is, every excuse is a choice. Every excuse is a vote against yourself. Every excuse is a moment where you decided comfort mattered more than courage, where ease mattered more than endurance, where safety mattered more than sacrifice. You can feel the weight of it if you stop and listen. It sits in your chest, heavy, suffocating, reminding you that you are capable of more, but refusing to act because you let excuses control the narrative. And yet, here's the brutal reality: comfort is easy to love, but it kills slowly. You wake up one day and look around and wonder why you're not where you wanted to be, why the dream that once burned inside feels distant, why your hands are empty and your heart restless. The answer is simple: excuses. Every day you let them in. Every time you allowed yourself to rationalize, you gave away power. You didn't see it because the seduction was gentle, because the lie was convincing, because it told you the truth you wanted to hear instead of the truth you needed to feel. Excuses are comfort, but comfort is a cage, and cages are invisible until you've been trapped too long to escape without pain. Pain is honest, pressure is honest, work is honest. Excuses are dishonest. They hide behind phrases and explanations, behind timing and conditions, behind luck and opportunity. They sound smart, they sound polite, they sound normal, but they are not. They are lethal. They steal your edge, they mute your fire. They make your potential invisible even to yourself. And the most dangerous part is that you often don't notice it because excuses feel like safety. You tell yourself you're smart, you're tactical, you're strategic, but really you're hiding from the only thing that matters: the relentless demand to show up, to push, to fight, to endure, to sacrifice, to bleed, to burn, and to rise anyway. Comfort is soft, but greatness is sharp. Comfort whispers, greatness shouts. Comfort waits, greatness moves. Comfort hesitates, greatness strikes. And yet, every person with potential has a moment where comfort tempts them, where the pull is irresistible, where the desire to step back, to slow down, to soften, to explain feels like the only rational choice. That moment is your test. That moment defines you. That moment separates the ones who settle from the ones who achieve. Because excuses are not just words, they are decisions. They are choices to bend instead of break, to fold instead of fight, to hide instead of rise. They are comfort masquerading as reason. And if you can't see the mask, you will never fight past it. Every time you think about quitting, every time you rationalize why the work is too hard, every time you justify why it's okay to step back, remember that excuse is a recomfort. Remember that comfort is the enemy in disguise. Remember that this voice that whispers soft words and soft lies is not helping you. It is robbing you. And the people who win, the people who achieve, the people who leave a mark, they hear that voice and they override it. They don't negotiate, they don't argue, they don't compromise. They take action, they endure, they persist, they fight. They do the work even when it's uncomfortable, even when it hurts, even when the world is against them, because they know that comfort is temporary, but regret is permanent. And that every excuse they give is a chance to fail that they will carry forever if they choose it. Excuses are easy. The world wants you to take them. Your friends want you to take them. Your brain wants you to take them. Comfort is tempting. Safety is seductive. Ease feels good. But nothing you want is on the side of comfort. Nothing you desire lives in the space where excuses rule. Dreams live in the territory where excuses don't exist, where pressure is embraced, where discipline is honored, where sacrifice is currency, and where action is law. The choice is yours. You can lie to yourself, you can hide behind reasoning, you can wrap yourself in explanations, or you can strip away the comfort, strip away the lies, and face the raw, unfiltered demand of the work that greatness requires. You can feel the tension right now, can't you? That internal war, that voice that wants to stop, that part of you that wisp. Maybe later, maybe tomorrow, maybe I'll rest just for a second. That is the exact moment where losers give in, where excuses win, where comfort laughs in your face, where fire dies in your chest, where potential evaporates. And the other part, the part that's alive, the part that refuses to fold, that refuses to rationalize, that refuses to explain, that refuses to hide, that part knows the truth. The truth is simple. Excuses are the enemy. They are comfort in disguise. And comfort will always be louder, softer, and easier to believe than courage unless you decide to fight, push, grind, sweat, bleed, persist, endure, overcome. Show up when it hurts, when it's hard, when the world whispers stop, whenever instinct tells you to fold, to explain, to justify, to rest, to retreat. That is the moment of choice. That is where losers make excuses. That is where winners rise. That is where potential becomes reality. Excuses are comfort in disguise, but courage, action, and relentless commitment are freedom. And freedom always requires confrontation, conflict, pressure, and refusal to give in to the soft lie that sounds so safe, but is deadly to everything you dream of. Excuses sound smart when you're losing. Discipline doesn't bend for feelings. It doesn't pause for comfort. It doesn't wait for motivation to show up or for mood to align with effort. You can feel tired, you can feel broken, you can feel afraid, but discipline doesn't care. Discipline moves while you complain. Discipline pushes while you hesitate. Discipline wins while you make excuses. You think the world will wait for you to feel ready. It won't. The clock doesn't stop. The opportunity doesn't pause. And the competition doesn't slow down. Every second you waste thinking about how you feel is a second where your dreams slip further out of reach. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you want to be, but it's a bridge you can only cross when you stop negotiating with yourself, when you stop rationalizing comfort, when you stop letting feelings dictate action. You wake up every day with two choices: surrender to your weakness or force yourself to rise. Discipline is forcing yourself to rise when every bone in your body screams for rest. Discipline is showing up when fear tells you to quit. Discipline is grinding when the world whispers stop. Discipline doesn't care about your excuses. Discipline doesn't care about your pain. Discipline doesn't care about your story. Discipline demands results, and we'll get them whether you feel ready or not. The people who succeed, the people who dominate, the people who leave legacies, they don't wait to feel motivated. They don't wait for perfect conditions. They don't wait for anyone to cheer them on or validate their struggle. They move because discipline is relentless. It is unavoidable. It is the force that separates winners from everyone else. Every day, your mind will try to trick you. It will whisper that you've done enough. H, that you need rest, that tomorrow will be easier. And every day, if you listen, you will find yourself a little weaker, a little further from your potential. Motivation is fleeting. Excuses are seductive. Comfort is a trap. But discipline is permanent. Discipline is proof that you can endure, that you can execute, that you can conquer, even when the world, even when your body, even when your mind is screaming no. Discipline doesn't negotiate. Discipline doesn't explain. Discipline doesn't compromise. You either do it or you don't. Think about the people who dominate. Do you think they wake up feeling perfect every day? Do you think they wake up without doubt, without fatigue, without fear? No, they wake up exhausted, broken, second-guessing themselves, staring at the mountain ahead, knowing the climb will hurt. And yet, they move. They take the first step anyway. They endure the first rep, the first mile, the first practice, the first rejection, the first loss. Discipline doesn't care about their feelings. Discipline doesn't care about their doubts. Discipline cares about action, about persistence, about commitment. They do not ask if they feel ready. They ask how they can overcome, how they can push, how they can outwork everyone else, because discipline is louder than excuses, stronger than fear, and sharper than talent without focus. Every day you hesitate is a victory for comfort, for weakness, for the part of you that wants to quit. Every day you postpone action. Every day you tell yourself you'll start tomorrow. Every day you negotiate with your mind, you fall behind. You are not guaranteed tomorrow. You are not owed a second chance. Discipline is the only way to guarantee progress. Discipline is the only way to build a foundation strong enough to carry you when motivation fades, when fear strikes, when life hits harder than expected. Discipline is not convenient. Discipline is not comfortable. Discipline is not polite. Discipline is the tool of the relentless, the weapon of the unstoppable, the heartbeat of the unbreakable, and yet you resist it. You fight it. You justify why today is different, why today is harder, why today deserves mercy. You tell yourself you've earned a break, you've earned relief, you've earned forgiveness for your lack of effort. But here's the truth. Nobody is coming to forgive you. Nobody is coming to reward your hesitation. Nobody is coming to honor your excuses. Life is not waiting for you to feel ready. Life doesn't care about your struggles or your pain. Life rewards the disciplined, the relentless, the ones who refuse to negotiate with mediocrity. Discipline is not a choice, it is survival. Discipline is not optional. It is the only thing standing between you and everything you want. Your body will beg. Your mind will protest. Your soul will tremble under the weight of the grind. Every instinct will scream stop. Every fiber of your being will argue for ease. And every time you listen, you lose a piece of your potential. Discipline is saying no to every instinct that tells you to quit. Discipline is saying yes to the work that scares you, that exhausts you, that challenges you to your core. Discipline is the quiet fire burning when the world is asleep. Discipline is the first rep when your arms shake. Discipline is the mile when your lungs burn. Discipline is the extra hour when the day is over. Discipline is what makes champions when talent is not enough, when opportunity is fleeting. When fear is everywhere, there is no compromise in discipline. There is no excuse it cannot silence. There is no obstacle it cannot break. Discipline demands your presence, your sweat, your focus, your relentless commitment. Discipline doesn't reward hesitation. Discipline doesn't negotiate with comfort. Discipline doesn't care if you feel tired, unprepared, or afraid. Discipline only cares if you are willing to act, to push, to endure, to fight, to refuse to settle for less than your best. Every day you give in is a day you lose. Every day you refuse is a day you build. Every choice matters. Every action counts. Every moment is a test, and discipline is the standard that measures you. The hardest part is not the work. The hardest part is starting, continuing, and refusing to stop when everything inside you wants to quit. Discipline lives in the uncomfortable. Discipline thrives in pressure. Discipline grows when you feel weak. Discipline strengthens when you resist. Discipline is forge. D in the fire of relentless commitment, repetition, sacrifice, and pain. Discipline doesn't ask for your comfort. It doesn't care for your feelings. It doesn't negotiate. Discipline takes what you give, transforms into power, and propels you past everyone who was waiting for motivation, waiting for luck, waiting for perfect timing. Discipline creates results when nothing else will. You will fail if you depend on how you feel. You will fall if you wait for energy. You will lose if you negotiate with hesitation. But if you embrace discipline, if you lock in, if you commit, if you endure, if you refuse to give an inch to weakness, you will rise. You will outperform. You will outlast. You will become unstoppable. You will become the standard that others chase, the benchmark that defines success, the force that commands respect. Because discipline doesn't wait. Discipline doesn't falter. Discipline doesn't negotiate. Discipline moves. And when you move with it, nothing can stop you. You feel the tension, don't you? That tight knot in your chest, that voice telling you to rest, that urge to step back, that whisper that says, you've done enough. That is the moment that defines you. That is the moment where losers stop. That is the moment where champions rise. That is the moment where you choose to obey discipline instead of feeling. That is the moment that separates every excuse from every victory. Because discipline doesn't bend for feelings. Discipline doesn't wait for mood. Discipline doesn't pause for fear. Discipline only rewards action. Discipline only honors effort. Discipline only respects commitment. Discipline doesn't bend for feelings. Excuses steal respect and results. Every time you rationalize, every time you justify, every time you hide behind a story, you hand away the one thing that can't be borrowed back: respect. Not from others, most people won't even notice, but from yourself. Every excuse chips away at your confidence, your edge, your fire, your identity. You look in the mirror and think you're doing fine, but deep inside, you know you're settling. You know you're shrinking. You know you're giving up a piece of your potential because the voice in your head said, maybe today isn't the day. Maybe later is okay. Maybe someone else will do it. And each time you let that voice win, respect slips further from your hands. Not the loud, obvious respect, the kind that people applaud and cheer for, but the quiet, unshakable respect that builds when you show up, grind, push, and refuse to quit. Excuses make you invisible. They mask you in a comfort zone that feels safe, but it's empty. You hide your effort, your strength, your determination behind explanations that sound reasonable, logical, and polite. You convince yourself that it's strategic to wait, to delay, to soften, to bend, to avoid. But waiting is weakness disguised as patience. Delaying is fear masquerading as preparation. Softening is avoidance pretending to be smart. Every excuse is camouflage for mediocrity. And you live under that camouflage thinking no one sees it, thinking no one notices, but you do. You feel it in the hollow ache of unrealized dreams. You feel it in the frustration that rises when opportunity passes. You feel it in the quiet, unrelenting truth that you could do more, and achieve more if only you stop lying to yourself. Excuses don't just take away respect, they destroy results. The moment you rationalize why you can't act, the moment you explain why now isn't the right time, the moment you say you're too tired, too hurt, too young, too old, too busy, that's the moment the results vanish. Every goal, every dream, every ambition, every ounce of effort you've ever invested slips through your fingers like sand because excuses are the thief in the night, silent, patient, invisible, deadly. You wait for permission, validation, perfect timing, motivation, confidence, the right mood, the ideal circumstance, and while you wait, the world moves. While you negotiate with your comfort, the opportunity passes. While you justify your hesitation, someone else takes your spot, achieves your dream. Outworks you in the silence where excuses whisper. Excuses are easy to love. They feel protective. They feel safe. They sound intelligent. They make you feel justified. They make weakness feel clever. But beneath the comfort lies an ugly truth. Every excuse is a choice. Every excuse is a lie you tell yourself. Every excuse is a decision to betray your ambition, your vision, your potential. Every excuse is a moment where courage could have risen but didn't, where persistence could have conquered but didn't, where action could have dominated but didn't. Excuses don't just steal respect and results, they steal identity. They make you smaller than you are, softer than you could be, slower than you need to be, weaker than you're capable of being. You know it. And that knowledge gnaws at you in quiet moments, in long nights, in staring at the ceiling wondering why. You aren't further, higher, faster, better. Excuses are seductive because they tell you what you want to hear. They say, it's okay, take it easy, you've earned a break, wait until tomorrow, you're allowed to pause, you're allowed to be soft. And you believe them because comfort is comfortable. But comfort is a liar. Comfort doesn't create champions. Comfort doesn't forge winners. Comfort doesn't make people legendary. Comfort only builds regret. Excuses build regret. Every time you choose the path of least resistance, every time you let fear justify. In activity, every time you give into convenience, you pay the price. And the price is invisible at first. But it accumulates, it compounds, it waits for the moment when you finally glance at your life and realize how much you've given away to the soft lie that sounded safe. The problem is not that excuses exist. The problem is that you let them dictate your life. The problem is that you listen to them, you trust them, you negotiate with them. You give them authority over your time, your effort, your focus, your potential. You rationalize, you justify, you postpone, you delay. And for what? For a fleeting sense of relief? For a moment that feels easier? For a soft lie that promises safety but delivers failure? Every excuse you make is a crack in the foundation of your legacy. Every excuse is a fracture in the armor of your potential. Every excuse is a moment where you chose less instead of more, where you chose weak instead of strong, where you chose comfort instead of growth. You want respect. You want results. You want to leave a mark. Dominate your space. Prove to yourself that you are not average. Then stop giving in. Stop rationalizing. Stop explaining. Stop nag. negotiating. Stop pretending there's a valid reason not to act. Stop listening to the voice that whispers soft lies in your ear. Stop loving comfort. Stop hiding. Stop allowing hesitation to dictate the outcome. Excuses are not just harmless words. They are weapons. And if you wield them, they will destroy you. They will destroy respect. They will destroy results. They will destroy your sense of worth, your confidence, your fire. You feel the weight of it now. You feel the pressure building, the discomfort rising, the tension tightening. That is the truth speaking. That is reality hitting. That is life reminding you that nothing waits, nothing forgives, nothing bends for weakness. The people who achieve, the people who dominate, the people who rise above, they understand this instinctively. They know that excuses are deadly. They know that every rationalization, every justification, every delay is an attack on their potential. They know that respect, true respect, the respect that builds silently, internally, in the core of your being, cannot exist alongside excuses. They know that results, the tangible proof that you did what others wouldn't, that you pushed when others quit, that you endured when others stopped, cannot exist when excuses govern action. And so they move. They move before motivation arrives. They move before courage feels ready. They move despite fear, despite pain, despite uncertainty. They move because they understand that excuses are the enemy, that comfort is the thief, that hesitation is the killer, that rationalization is the slow poison. Every time you hesitate, every time you rationalize, every time you give a reason not to act, you are choosing weakness over strength. You are choosing regret over growth. You are choosing comfort over challenge. You are choosing mediocrity over potential. You know it. You feel it. You cannot hide from it. That inner voice that whispers, maybe later, maybe tomorrow, maybe I'm too tired, maybe I'm not ready, that voice is lying. And the moment you stop listening, the moment you refuse to give it control, the moment you act anyway, that is the moment respect begins to rebuild. That is the moment results begin to appear. That is the moment you reclaim the power that excuses stole. That is the moment you prove to yourself that you are stronger, faster, sharper, and braver than the voice that tried to hold you back. Excuses sound safe, they sound smart, they sound justified, but they are lethal. They steal respect. They steal results. They steal identity. They steal fire. They steal potential. They rob you quietly, patiently, invisibly, until you finally realize that nothing moved forward because you moved backward. Because you said later instead of now. Because you rationalized instead of acted. Because you comforted yourself instead of challenging yourself. Every second, every choice, every excuse is a test. And winners, the ones who endure, the ones who dominate, the ones who leave legacies, they do not negotiate with excuses. They do not rationalize. They do not hide. They act. They push. They grind. They execute. They show up. They endure. They conquer. Excuses steal respect and results. Winners execute. Losers explain. Every time you justify, every time you rationalize, every time you try to make your absence or hesitation sound reasonable, you step further from the life you're capable of living. The world doesn't wait for explanations. Opportunity doesn't pause for your doubts. Success doesn't bend for your fears. You think your reasons matter, that your story matters, that your feelings matter, but the harsh truth is that they don't. All that matters is action. All that matters is execution. You can talk, you can plan, you can dream, you can imagine, you can rationalize, but if you do not move, if you do not act, if you do not execute, nothing changes. Every excuse is a delay. Every explanation is a roadblock. Every justification is a nail in the coffin of your potential. Execution is brutal. Execution is relentless. Execution does not care about convenience, comfort, or consensus. Execution is lonely. It is exhausting, it is demanding, it is uncomfortable, and it is the only path from where you are to where you want to be. Winners know this. Winners move while others talk. Winners grind while others hesitate. Winners act while others negotiate, rationalize, and justify. Winners understand that the only thing separating them from the rest is the willingness to endure, to push, to bleed, to sweat, to show up when it hurts, to rise when every part of them wants to quit. Execution is action in the absence of feeling. Execution is the proof that what you claim in your mind is real in your life. Execution is the bridge between potential and reality, between desire and dominance. Between dreams and legacy, losers explain because fear is stronger than ambition. Losers explain because comfort is louder than courage. Losers explain because hesitation feels safer than risk. Every excuse, every story, every reason they give is armor for weakness, a shield for cowardice, a mask for failure. They think explanations protect them, that stories justify them, that reasoning makes their inaction acceptable. but it doesn't. Nobody is fooled. The world sees it. Your potential sees it. And you see it every time you wake up knowing you could have done more, but didn't. Every time you feel the sting of regret. Every time you realize the action was available, but you chose explanation. You feel it deep in your chest, that pressure, that tension, that nagging. Discomfort that screams you're better than this, that you were meant for more, that you are capable of dominating, but you didn't because you justified yourself instead of executing. Execution demands sacrifice. Execution demands discipline. Execution demands urgency. Execution demands courage. It demands showing up when it hurts, when your body is exhausted, when your mind is screaming no, when the world is indifferent, when the pressure is unbearable, when fear is suffocating, when doubt is loud. Execution is doing the work that nobody else sees, the work that is unglamorous, unacknowledged, unappreciated, uncelebrated. Execution is going when you don't feel like it. Execution is pushing when you're broken. Execution is rising when you're defeated. Execution is relentless because winners cannot afford to wait for conditions to be perfect, for timing to be ideal, for motivation to appear, for permission to act. Execution happens now, whether you're ready or not, whether you want to or not, whether it's easy or not. Every time you explain, every time you justify, every time you rationalize, you give away power. You give away time. You give away respect. You give away results. You give away opportunity. You give away dominance. You give away potential. You give away a piece of yourself. You shrink in small increments, you compromise in silent moments, you settle without noticing. And the most dangerous part is that it feels safe. It feels comfortable. It feels justified. It feels normal. It whispers to you that you are clever, reasonable, strategic. But it is lying. It is stealing from you. Every explanation is a thief. Every excuse is a thief. Every justification is a thief. Every time you choose words over action, you allow theft. And the thing about theft is that it compounds. Small losses become large losses. Small delays become missed opportunities. Small compromises become a life of mediocrity you never intended but gradually accepted because you prefer words to work, stories to sweat, reasoning to results. Execution is fearless. Execution is uncompromising. Execution is violent in its demand for action. Execution does not negotiate. Execution does not hesitate. Execution does not ask for your permission or comfort. Execution is ruthless. Execution is exacting. Execution is the difference between dreaming and achieving, between watching life happen and making life happen, between being average and being legendary. Execution doesn't wait for inspiration. Execution doesn't forgive weakness. Execution doesn't pause for doubt. Execution doesn't apologize. Execution doesn't bend for your excuses. Execution doesn't negotiate with your comfort. Execution simply takes what it needs and rewards only those willing to pay the price. The moment you stop explaining, the moment you stop justifying, the moment you refuse to rationalize, the moment you move, that is the moment respect begins to build. That is the moment results start to appear. That is the moment your identity strengthens. Every second you spend crafting an explanation instead of taking action is a second wasted, a second lost, a second stolen from the life you are capable of building. Winners know this. Winners feel the weight of every delay. Winners feel the cost of every excuse. Winners feel the sting of every explanation. And they respond by moving harder, pushing faster, grinding longer, rising stronger, because action cannot wait. Execution cannot pause. And dominance cannot be negotiated. Excuses feel safe, but safety is death to ambition. Explanations feel smart, but cleverness without action is meaningless. Rationalizations feel reasonable, but reason without execution is useless. You can talk about what you're going to do until the end of time, but if you do not execute, nothing changes. You can plan, you can strategize, you can map, you can visualize, you can dream, but without execution, every word is wasted breath, every thought is wasted energy, every intention is wasted potential. Execution is proof. Execution is results. Execution is respect. Execution is dominance. Execution is life turned into victory. Action is violent. Action is demanding. Action is uncomfortable. Action is relentless. Action is deliberate. Action is merciless. Action does not negotiate. Action does not explain. Action does not wait. Action takes no excuses. Action silences the voice of hesitation. Action crushes the comfort that tempts you. Action overcomes every rationalization, every story, every justification, every fear, every doubt. And if you can execute, if you can act, if you can show up and push, if you can endure and persist, if you can move when the world tells you to pause, you will dominate. You will rise. You will be unstoppable. You will build respect. You will achieve results. You will leave a mark. The voice inside that tells you to explain, that tells you to justify, that tells you to rationalize, that tells you to pause, that tells you to delay, that tells you to wait, that tells you that today isn't the day, that you're not ready, that you're too tired, that you deserve mercy, that you are clever to compromise, ignore it, crush it, silence it, act anyway, move anyway, push anyway, grind anyway, execute anyway. Every step you take past hesitation, every rep, every mile, every effort, every choice, every action is a step closer to respect, to results, to dominance, to fulfillment, to power. This is the territory where winners live, where champions rise, where legacies are built, where excuses die, where explanations fail, where action reigns supreme. Winners execute, losers explain.